Thank you, Excellency. The mandate of the Kenya Forest Service is to conserve, protect and manage all public forests and to provide technical support to the county governments to conserve and manage forest resources on community and private lands for the equitable benefit of the present and future generations. Forests are one of the God-given natural resources, and their importance to the general well-being of humanity, and more so that of our country, Kenya, cannot be gainsaid. Indeed, they support all aspects of our lives, from the provision of environmental services, such as water provision, support key sectors of the economy in agriculture, energy, manufacturing, and tourism sector. Related to this day and relevant to this day, it is the forest's role in regulating our environment by sequestering carbon and also absorb pollutants, gases such as nitrogen oxide, ammonia, sulfur dioxide, and ozone, and filter particulates out of the air by trapping them through their leaves and barks. Forests thus give us clean air and reduces greenhouse gases, and their effects is in the atmosphere. As you may be aware, our chief guest, the ground level ozone pollution is distinct from the ozone layer high in the other atmosphere. And atmospheric ozone protects the planet by absorbing the sun ultraviolet rays. Pollutants formerly used in the refrigerants and aerosols can have destroyed part of this layer, or could have destroyed part of this layer. But close to the ground, ozone harms plants, animals, including forests, and human beings themselves. And therefore the ground level ozone forms from the nitrous oxide and other pollutants released when people burn fossil fuels. Trees absorb both these nitrous oxide and fully formed ozone. And therefore, according to a new research, Bwana CS, which is titled "Forest Could Be a Thrifty Way to Fight Ozone Pollution" 2014, they asserted that planting trees may be a cost-effective way to reduce ground-level ozone, a toxic component of smoke that contributes to the deaths of about 152,000 people annually worldwide. In fact, the research generated a model that predicted that people could reduce ozone pollution more cheaply with trees than with engineering-based methods such as stricter control over emissions from cars and factories. Reforestation was cost-effective so long as people, or can be cost-effective, so long as people can cooperate and collaborate in tree planting initiatives. At the same time, a revitalized forest would expand recreation opportunities like we see here today, increase biodiversity, and help prevent erosion. Talk of restoration of green spaces such as the Michuki Park, where we are gathered today, Karura Forest, City Park, Arboretum, Gong Road and Gong Hills Forest, as they are strategically located in urban areas prone to ground level ozone. Unfortunately, despite the very critical importance that forest plays, as I have enumerated above, they are also casualties of climate change impact and the stratospheric ozone depletion. Climate change contributes to shifting of vegetation cover, geographical ranges of tree species, and seasonal timing of development, which further modifies exposure to the UVB radiations. Stratospheric ozone depletion directly contributes to the climate change by exposing forest ecosystems to altered patterns of precipitation, temperature, and fire regimes, which actually continue to affect this country as we have envisaged. And therefore, the shift of these rainfall patterns offers and actually compromises the survival and reproduction of forest resources. Therefore, atmospheric pollution, or the other side, affects the forest composition and functions, and therefore, beside ozone depletion, it contributes to the frequency, as I have said, of forest fires, pests, and diseases. Our chief guest, to address the threats posed by climate change and ozone depletion on forest ecosystem, Kenya Forest Service is collaborating with other government ministries and agencies, stakeholders and partners, as we have seen them today here, to implement climate actions aiming at regaining the ecological functionality and enhancing human well-being of deforested and degraded landscapes. This is through our core programs, National Tree Cover Campaign Project, which I think the ministry has been leading, forest and land restoration program, all aimed at increasing the forest cover to above 10% by 2022, at the same time deliver associated ecological, socio-economic, recreational, cultural, spiritual benefit to the current and future generations. I would therefore like our chief guest to emphasize the successfully protecting of forests and landscapes will help protect the ozone layer and deliver most of the sustainable development goals. It is therefore imperative that the implementation of the ozone regime put more efforts and investment in protecting and sustainably managing forest resources, tackling climate change, and protecting nature and ecosystems that sustain life on Earth. As we focus our attention on matters of forestry within public forest, it is important also that we all note that the greatest potential for increasing forest cover is outside the state-owned forest areas. To this end, and as we continue to reclaim, rehabilitate, and restore degraded forest land, I wish to encourage farmers and private land owners to set aside at least 10% of their land for tree and fruit tree growing, which will go a long way to reducing pressure for forest product and services from the state and community forests. Our chief guest, as I conclude, I urge all stakeholders to partner, support, and complement Kenya Forest Service efforts in delivering the National Forest Cover Agenda and aspiration of keeping our forests safe now and in the future. Let us all preserve our forests. By doing so, we will be employing the most efficient means to preserve our ozone layer. May God bless us all. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And it's my honor and privilege to welcome Her Excellency, the County Governor of Nairobi. And this is a very welcome. And this is just to show that some of these events can actually be held within a natural setup. And actually we are setting up the base in terms of showing that providing the reach that you don't even need to go to big buildings. So that we also be able to protect our nature. So in those two regards, I think it's now my honor and pleasure to invite our Honorable Secretary, who will in turn invite the chief guest and also the investor in the program. Our cabinet secretary, Honorable Keriako Tobiko, the governor of Nairobi, Excellency Mike Sonko, representatives of different partners, Grand Habitat and GIZ, and others represented here, CEOs of the parastatals that are in our ministry, the representatives of the Director General of Nairobi Metropolitan Services, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm Jambo. You have heard those who have spoken and have said a lot from NEMA perspective on the measures we have taken on the issues of regulation, and from KFS on the importance of trees. So for me, being the PS in the ministry, and given my minister is coming to speak, I want to make my remarks very few. Just to say that we have been told by scientists that there is a layer, a shield of gas up in the atmosphere that is very fragile, and that human activities, if not controlled, can destroy. And because of that, the community, international community decided we need to come together. Hence the Vienna Convention, hence the Montreal Protocol, and more recently the Kigali Amendment on the same. So we are told today our theme is Ozone for Life, and we have had trees for better life. And I think CS added when we were here, bamboos for money, Besha. So I think we are in a better place, because I think the president was here recently.
Yes, you can hold the blue mic.
I can hold this one. Okay. The president was here recently to launch the Michuki Park. Let's clap for His Excellency for what done. Recently, he also honored us when we were in the Arboretum to celebrate the World Environment Day. And our ministry is leading on a major campaign for tree planting. I counted what CS planted in the morning before we came here. And I saw CS, if I was not wrong, you planted 25 trees. 25. So we have said as a ministry, we are on a campaign that next year, if possible, we want to rally 35 million Kenyans to each plant at least 60 seedlings. That brings us to 2 billion, and that is the target we need to take 10%. So my role now is to invite the CS so that he can make more remarks. Oh yeah, the governor first. Okay. Your Excellency, the governor, please come and make your remarks.
Thank you very much. The Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Environment and Forestry, Honorable Tobiko, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First, let me convey my apologies for my late arrival. I delegated my CC Environment to here, Mr. Larry Wambua, who is a previous schoolmate, Banawaziri. We did a lot together in Nairobi University. Classmates, yeah. To my brief speech, it gives me great joy and pleasure to join you all here today as we celebrate the United Nations International Day for the preservation of the ozone layer, simply known as the International Ozone Day 2020. For 35 years, the world has continued in various and guided efforts to address the depletion of the ozone layer, and Nairobi has never been left behind. Ladies and gentlemen, global warming has remained a greater threat to the very existence of our planet. The human race remains the greatest culprit in the degradation of our environment and depletion of the ozone layer, and it takes recognition of the same to reverse the effects and hopefully restore our environment to a standard that is suitable for all living organisms. When I assumed office, I inherited a city that was choking in filth, mostly comprising substances that contribute to the depletion of our environment and the ozone layer. However, today I'm happy to report that through our concerted efforts and with strategic partnership with the national government, with the Minister of Environment and CS Tobiko and our international partners, we have seen tremendous progress in reclaiming our green spaces and reducing our carbon footprint as a city. I acknowledge that there is more work to be done and more ground to be covered, especially to completely eliminate the discharge of domestic and industrial effluent into our streams, rivers, and other open spaces. My administration, in partnership with the national government through the Ministry of Environment, is also in the process of finalizing the establishment of ultra-modern waste treatment plant in Nairobi to reduce emissions from our Dandora dump site that has not been treated for decades now. In conclusion, I wish to call upon all of us to continue in our individual and organizational efforts to ensure that the full implementation of the Montreal and Kyoto protocols are observed. For those few remarks, thank you very much. May God bless you all. May I take this opportunity now to invite the CS Environment.
Your Excellency, the Governor of capital city, Nairobi, PS, the new director, GIZ, and Karibu Sana Kenya, most welcome. Representative of the Executive Director of UN Habitat, my colleagues, Mjamboni wote. Mine will be brief. Of course, I am not actually the chief guest. I am the host. So nawakaribisha sana. Welcome you to Michuki Park and National Museum. See, both facilities have been combined, and we work very closely with the National Museum, my colleague C.S. Amina, the Ministry of Sports, Culture and National Heritage, Director General Dr. Kibunja. So don't ask yourselves why we are here. We didn't break the walls. Actually, the walls just fell off. Because, as a matter of course, it was a natural thing. We are one and the same government. And both facilities belong to you, the people of Kenya. Your Excellency, the Governor, I thank you for finding time of your busy schedule to be with us. Your presence here as the Governor of this county is very, very significant, very important. And we respect you and your office. And as you say correctly, we have worked together as ministry and your government, county government, on issues to do with the environment, the cleanup of the Nairobi River, dealing with solid waste, and many others. We have continued to work together, the three of us, myself, yourself, and General Badi, who is now the DG of the Nairobi Metropolitan Services. All of us are working together, serving the people of this beautiful country, serving the people of this beautiful city. It is not competition as to who is more powerful, who is senior, who is more influential. That really doesn't matter at all. What our people want and desire is unity of purpose. Time has gone. We have less than 2 years left to 2022, or almost. And so time is not on our side. And we should try as best as we can to maximize on the time left by delivering services to our people and avoiding sideshows. Time for sideshows will come, time for campaigns will come, and Your Excellency the Governor, I assure you, as I have assured the DG NMS, that we are willing, ready and able to work together with your government, your ministries, and your agencies to ensure that the people of this beautiful city get the services they desire. Secondly, and I apologize because I had to change the site, the venue. And I know what I realized was when I was planting, I was just getting, that was just warm up. So I was a little, it was an anticlimax, 35. I normally do 100 plus. But I noticed that a number of you are just standing by and watching. 5, and you went to the tent to sit and wait for us to finish, and then so that we can. So I decided, let me change the way. Make you now walk and sit in the sun, but under trees. And that's why we are here. And I apologize if I caused any offense, any inconvenience. But I'm sure you all realize and appreciate that this is the best ever choice of site, isn't it?
Yeah.
The governor has spoken about the green spaces. The director, UN Habitat, has spoken about green spaces. And thank you, convey our appreciation to the executive director for the work that they have done for posterity. shortly you will be handing over to us the inventory that you, working with others, of all the green spaces within the Nairobi city metropolis that you have documented, you have mapped out, and you have given proposals on how best to work together, government and non-government agencies, international organizations, to preserve, conserve, and protect these green species, not just for ourselves, not just for our children, but for our children too, and for generations yet to be born. And there is no better manifestation of the beauty, tranquility of such than here at Michuki. Governor, you know we have been engaged in this exercise for long, and the results are now here to be seen. We worked with your team and DG to ensure, as directed by the President, that Michuki Park has been restored, rehabilitated, and beautified, and that's why we are here today. All that could have been said has been said about why we are here today, to celebrate, along with the rest of the globe, the World Ozone Day. We have understood, we have heard why it is important. That's why it is ozone for life. And environment is life. One philosopher once said rather, that if you think as between money and environment, which one is more important, why don't you try and count your money while you are holding your breath? And you see how long you can go. It tells you between money and environment is more important. So that's why we are here. And we are here today also to enjoy the beauty and the tranquility, serenity of these green spaces. And I thank the group. And please bear with her because she will take some time, so she will read and try and chief guest. So
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ariana Michuki. I am 10 years old from the King Hashtag School. And today I'm very glad to be here. As the CEO said, what is ozone layer? I will answer the question. Ozone is a relatively unstable molecule made up of 3 atoms of oxygen, also known as O3 or trioxide. The ozone layer or ozone is a medium of